Welcome to the Overstock Academy weekly podcast, where we talk about finding name brand store overstock products and reselling them online in places such as eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and even your own website. Now, the overstock industry is a $127 billion a year industry. All of the products are the same highly profitable name brands that you know and trust, which basically means that if you do it right, they almost sell themselves. And the do it right part is what this podcast is all about. Today, I wanted to address a serious problem that we all encounter. But first, as usual, before I give you any solution, I'm going to tell you what happened to me that led to the solutions I'll share with you. I remember that it was about 9:30 p.m. on a Thursday night, and I finally got the kids to bed, and I plopped down on the couch completely exhausted. A thought crossed my mind, and it was one that had been floating in my head on and off all day. Why the heck is my stuff not selling on eBay? Now, it had been about 5 days since my last sale, even though I still had over 53 active listings. Here I was struggling to catch up on my bills, and I was basically juggling bills and robbing Peter to pay Paul. You see, I had just recently found an awesome source of wholesale name brand overstock products with crazy profit margins. And when I listed them on eBay a few weeks prior, I instantly had some amazing sale numbers. It became clear that doing this sell online thing full time was totally valid. Now, those first sales had allowed me to catch up on my car payment and my cable and my internet bill. Also, as I was fueled by my newfound confidence to sell online, I had requested an extension on my electric bill until next Tuesday. Now, if you know anything about those guys, they don't mess around. They will disconnect your power the instant you miss the deadline. My car insurance payment was also due to auto-deduct on the same day. But I was confident I would be able to make these payments if my selling trends continued. Then all of a sudden, crickets. No sales, no questions from buyers, no offers, nothing. So what the heck happened? I was getting worried. Scratch that, I won't lie. I was freaking out. But I wasn't going to give up so easily. I had made the commitment to my business to be all in, and it was time to knuckle down and figure this out. So I did what every other solopreneur would do. I hit up Google. And in my search for answers, I did find a few random articles. Now, what's funny is that although these people were supposedly pros at this, everyone had widely varying solutions, and there didn't appear to be a consensus. What's worse is when I scrolled down to the comment section, it was full of "this doesn't work" type of feedback. Heck, I even tried calling eBay, and some customer service person with a heavy foreign accent gave me some vague scripted answer in a tone that suggested that he was an eBay sage. So I went back to what I knew. I was a buyer on eBay long before I was a seller, and I thought about what made me buy one thing and not the other. And just when I was about to give up, a light bulb went off. I had nothing to lose, so I took my ID and I immediately tested it. And you know what? It worked. Now, the following tips are a few of the principles that I came up with that day. These are the same principles that allowed me to not only take care of those pesky bills, but also eventually propelled me to a six-figure income much faster than I thought possible. The principles are not in any particular order, but I suggest that you use all of them. And make them a habit if you want fast results, especially in the overstock industry, which is where I excelled. Now, before we jump in, I realize that most of you are listening while you're doing other things. Maybe you're at the gym or you're at work. You may be driving or running. But don't worry about remembering all of this. The full PDF version of this guide can be downloaded at overstockacademypodcast.com/108. And it's free, so please make sure you get it and please use it. All right, so here goes. Number one, you're going to want to create a competitive product title. You're going to want to always use the exact name, model number, and the colors that the manufacturers use. Do not use all caps in the title either. It's kind of a put-off. It comes off as sleazy, even salesy, and attention-seeking, and it's kind of creepy in a way. Also, don't use special characters in your title, such as the @ symbol. Imagine this scenario. Say you are looking for a date to take to an important event, and because you were so awesome, a lineup of prospects suddenly appears in your parking lot and you have to pick one. Will you pick the obnoxious one, jumping up and down, screaming at you with a huge lime green poster board with a portrait of themselves? Or would you pick the nice, confident-looking, nicely dressed, well-mannered one, who will on cue engage in meaningful conversation and entertain you, but is also okay to leave you alone to make your own decisions? And just as you'd probably choose the second person, that is the same impression that you want to create with your title. Simply provide all of the information that your buyer needs so they can make an informed decision. Now, the easiest way that I was able to accomplish this was by, one, using the manufacturer's title. And the second thing was using the same title top retailers use. So titles that come from Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, Home Depot, and places such as that. Now, these companies have teams of professionals on staff that have tested and optimized these titles. And after all, you're buying their overstock, right? So why reinvent the wheel? Plus, guess what? By using their titles, your listings show up when theirs show up. And now you're rolling with the big boys. But this alone is not enough. The second thing that you have to do is have an accurate and detailed product description. Now, some people think that not disclosing everything they know about their item allows them to sell it for more. And it's quite the opposite, actually. You will lose money by inaccurately describing your item. Now, I don't mean to scare you, but I cannot emphasize enough the need for honesty and detail. Also, be upfront in your descriptions. While you may have to make a few sales at lower prices, hiding the imperfections will cost you even more in the long run. So keep in mind, there are some buyers on eBay actually looking for items to refurbish, but the buyer needs enough information to make that informed decision, right? So always provide super accurate product descriptions and go all out on this. You cannot overdo it. In fact, the more you put about your product, the better. If there is a blemish, a scratch, a corrosion, a crack, anything such as that matter on the product, be sure to mention that. Now, I found that transparency sells more online because buyers appreciate it. They already get scammed and lied to enough online, so your honesty feels like a breath of fresh air to them. And that feeling is what you are going for. Now, if you do this right, without jumping up and down and screaming for attention, they will fall in love with you and your products. Now, here's how I did this. First, I would use the manufacturer's description. Second, use the same description that retailers use, like Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, Home Depot. Now, Amazon is especially helpful here if you're looking for item descriptions. The third thing is include a condition note in your description if your item is anything other than perfect. For example, a condition note can state something like, the item has a large scratch on the left side. Handle shows slight signs of use. See images for details. Now here's a pro tip for you. If an attribute in your description is negative, like a crack or a scratch, you don't have to make it bold, use red letters, or make it flashy, but you do have to mention it. This offers you seller protection as well, which we'll go into on another episode. Now, to see how I use this condition note tactic in my listings, go to the episode notes at overstockacademypodcast.com/108 and you'll see some images there. The third thing that you're going to want to do is remember to fill in all of your item specifics. Now, the item specifics are the features and/or specifications of your item. Also, make sure that all of your item specifics are filled in and that they are relevant to your product. And you may also add in your own custom item specifics if necessary. If your item specifics are not filled in, your item will not show up in the search results. And this is especially important for mobile, since most buyers on the mobile phone will use item specifics to drill down their listings. More than 50% of transactions in 2016 were made from a mobile device, so spend the extra time to get this right. Now also, the item specifics also act as a filter when a buyer is shopping, so they can easily find what they want to purchase. For example, if you're selling a laptop bag, you'll want to indicate what material it is made out of, the color, what model of laptop that fits it, the part number, the brand, and those type of specifics. The fourth thing to keep in mind is you're going to want to add the product UPC. The UPC, or the Universal Product Code is a unique 12-digit number and barcode assigned to retail merchandise that identifies both the product and the vendor that sells the product. So the UPC symbol appears on nearly every retail product in the United States. The same brand and model may have a different UPC code due to a minor variation like a color or an accessory. Now, adding this to your listing tells the eBay algorithm exactly what your product is and where it should appear. Here's a pro tip for you. You can also use the UPC code to search for the item on Amazon and other retailer sites to get those detailed product information descriptions like we talked about before, the title and the specifications that we mentioned. The fifth thing is you are going to want to take your own pictures and make sure your product images are large, they're clear, and they're up close. You should also use all 12 of the image slots provided to you by eBay, but more on that in a bit when we talk about taking photos. If nothing else in this episode sticks with you, remember the most important point I'm about to tell you is pictures and videos sell products online, period. Buyers love images, and it doesn't matter how awesome your description is or how low your price is. If a buyer can't see the picture of the actual item that they are buying, they will move on to the next seller. Now, to avoid legal or copyright issues, it is preferable to use an image of the actual item. This is going to eliminate ambiguity and guesswork. It also sets the right expectation for the buyer. Here are some handy tips that helped me. You're going to want to use a solid background, and for me, I found that the color white works best. You can also grab simple photo booth setups from Amazon for less than $100 to achieve a more professional result, or you can find simple instructions on YouTube on how to create a light box for photography. eBay allows 12 images per listing, and I use all 12, but at the very least, you should take minimum of 6 photos from different angles. You're also going to want to include pictures of any accessories. For example, take a picture of the manual, any cables, and anything included with the product that you want your buyer to see. And do not use the stock photo. I know it's tempting to use the photo because you see everyone else doing it, but that will eventually work against you. Remember, you need to stand out. Now, the sixth thing is you're going to want to list your product in the correct category. If you put your product in the wrong category, your listing will be less relevant. When it's less relevant, the product is pushed down in the search results, or it could completely vanish. eBay has done phenomenal SEO for you already. So even when a buyer searches for a product on another website like Google, your eBay listing may pop up in those search results. However, that will only happen if you have listed it in the correct category. For example, if you're selling a case for a mobile phone, the correct category would be all, cell phones and accessories, then cases, covers, and skins. Here's a pro tip for you again. Avoid listing your item in more than one category. I learned this the hard way when eBay sent me a bill that was almost double my previous one. The seventh thing is, when possible, use the eBay catalog. Okay, if your item is a well-known brand, and most overstock products tend to be, it's more than likely that your product already exists in the eBay catalog. And all you have to do is enter the UPC or the EAN, the European article number of the product, and the listing will automatically populate and all of the product data will come right behind it. By using eBay's catalog, it will populate all the correct item specifics, eBay category, stock photos, and product descriptions for you. That's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of effort when inputting your information. A pro tip though, always use your personal images, as that will distinguish you from your competition. So even though those photo stock images populate for you, you can remove those and add your own personal images. Number 8 is sell and ship internationally. Now, if you are not already offering your products overseas, you should start doing so immediately. And participating in the eBay Global Shipping Program is a great way to make your products available to international buyers. Once sold, you pack and you ship your items and you send them to a U.S. address, which forwards to the buyer. As I explained in Overstock Academy, some of my best and highest spending buyers were international buyers. And when done right, Offering and shipping your items internationally could easily double your sales. Number 9 is you're going to want to price your item to be the lowest. Now, if I had to rank the strategies in this episode, pricing would be at the very top. However, it will not work efficiently in isolation. So a little homework during the buying process can go a long way in setting you up for profitable sales. Now, I know it sounds kind of funny talking about buying when these tips are about selling, but allow me to explain a bit. Now, it is a known fact that when shopping for any product or service, once we decide on the product that we want, with all else being equal, we always go for the lowest price item. I mean, I do it, you do it, heck, we all do it. And with that being said, your listing has got to have all the other qualities of a great listing, as shown in this episode, as well as the ability to be the lowest price. This way, you'll sell fast and you'll still remain profitable. Remember, eBay's algorithm likes conversions, and having the best price on eBay will help convert buyers. Over time, your listings will show up higher because you sell so fast and consistently. This is how I accomplish this. As a rule, I always priced my items between 1 and 5 cents lower than the competition. Now, as strange as that sounds, it actually works with amazing efficiency. Again, with all things being equal, buyers will choose to save that 1 to 5 cents over the competition. Try it out. You'll see on your own. A pro tip for you, though, the only way you will be able to accomplish this is if you buy better than your competition. And when you're doubling or tripling your cost with a markup, pricing your item a few cents below your competition's price in order to sell it faster is much, much easier. Again, if you go to the episode notes at overstockacademypodcast.com/108 and tell me where to send this to you, I'll send you the full PDF version of this guide for free. All right, so putting it all together, your eBay listing should answer the following questions in detail. First, what are you selling? Second, what does it look like? Third, what is or what is not included? Now, there's one important point that I want to make before we move on to the Q&A session. When a buyer searches on eBay, the search listing filter defaults to listings by best match. So how does eBay figure out the best match? Well, in 2013, eBay launched its Cassini algorithm. Now, for the seller, it tracks a number of things, including the following: your return policy, your response time to questions, whether you have all your product info filled in, whether you have quality pictures of your products, your feedback quality scores. It tracks your shipping policies, prices, and delivery times, whether you have valuable and accurate product descriptions, the prices you are asking for products. It tracks the price point at which you start bidding, your click-through and sell-through ratios, and the percentage of your products which are buy it now versus auction listings. Another thing is feedback really does matter. Remember that eBay is a reputation community. eBay does a great job of generating reviews and feedback and also encouraging their users to make use of the reputation tools, which means your reputation is the most valuable tool to leverage and if you want to sell on eBay successfully. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some questions. I have a question from Jeffrey C. He is saying, I am starting to understand that listing every day is important. My question is, do you list items right then and there, or do you schedule it for another time? I am getting hung up on as to when I should have my listings go up. Any help is appreciated. Thank you. Great question, Jeffrey. So if you read various forums and Facebook groups, you'll see that this is a question that has been debated for years and no consensus has been reached. However, I'm going to tell you what worked for me. And before I go into that, let me say this. I almost never listed any of my items on auction. I always did fixed price listing, and I also listed them on a good till canceled basis, which means that they were live until they either sold or until I manually took them down, which rarely ever happened. So my experience was I sold more on Sunday night than I did any other night. And then Saturday was next, which makes sense because, that's when most people are shopping online. Now, as far as scheduling, I didn't schedule my listings. I listed and then moved on to the next task. So I wouldn't get too hung up on that. What you need to get really focused on is how you buy. If you buy right, you can compete with anyone. And at the right price, you'll sell multiple items every day of the week. Alexis G asks, I am starting to sell on eBay. Any advice on what type of items to start with? Maybe household, clothing? Thank you in advance. Hi, Alexis. I actually recognize Alexis. She's one of the members at Overstock Academy. So Alexis, clothing is usually the easiest to list. If you watch the video in the free 7-day trial at Overstock Academy, you actually see me demonstrate how to process and list clothing. If you're like me, I sold almost anything from clothing to electronics to small kitchen appliances to bed and bath. So when my delivery arrived, it was always like Christmas morning each time. The only criteria my products had to meet was this. When I researched the potential selling prices, my minimum requirement was I had to at least triple my money. And this meant that I never bought blindly. I had to know what was on the product list, also known as the manifest, before I bought. However, in this industry, it is also very easy to specialize in certain categories. So if that's what you want to do when starting out, I would test out a few, but always remember our number one rule, Overstock Nation, always start small. By the way, if you'd like to check out that free trial, go to overstockacademypodcast.com/108 and send us a message on the chat feature saying that you want to check out the free trial, and we'll go ahead and send you the link. It's totally free. We don't even ask for your credit card, and I guarantee you that the information that's in that free trial alone is enough to get your business going. Jeanette S. sent in a question. She says, now that I am starting eBay and Amazon full-time, my husband was laid off last week, I am starting a daily worksheet. Can you share the list of Amazon and eBay chores? What a brilliant question, Jeanette, and sorry to hear about your husband. When I started out, I found myself struggling with this a lot, and that's why I made sure to add this in the training at Overstock Academy. Now, I actually go into more detail about your daily schedule at Overstock Academy, but I'll give you a quick overview of that now. First, I would always do shipping and everything that sold the day before. I would get that shipped and ready to go out for when the pickup was scheduled. I would then reply to all of my emails and messages on eBay and Amazon, and then hop right into processing my items and then list them immediately following for sale. This was the outline, but there are a few other tasks in between, and also like any other business, there will be curveballs. But this was the routine that I stuck to, and it worked best for my business. All right, so that's going to wrap up this week's episode. I truly hope that this show was beneficial to you. If it was, please feel free to share it, and there's definitely plenty of profits to go around. Also, if you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, please be sure to subscribe and leave us a written review. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them in and we'll get them answered for you. My email address is amy@overstockacademy.com. Also note, for the benefit of other listeners, your question may be read out and answered in an upcoming show. So again, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again in the next episode.